Hey, so for today's daily live, I really don't have any ideas. So I got the suggestion to just talk about like what I've decided about doing the EA. So I know I mentioned in my live like wrapping up all my WGU experience that I wasn't really sure about doing CPA, EA, and I was just talking through ideas for that. So I guess now I would say I've decided to, yeah, just go ahead, do the EA. It's funny because I did actually start studying for it like a couple years ago. I think it was like the first year I started my bookkeeping business. I started studying and then I stopped because I felt just not ready to do more, like because there's the personal taxes, business taxes, and I did some of the personal, and I just felt not ready slash like I didn't have time for that back then. So now I do feel more prepared, have more experience, um, and I don't have resources to help me. So I'm just gonna, I guess, go ahead and study for it. And I was thinking of waiting till next year, but in I might even just start earlier, like, later this month, I don't know, we'll see. I'm planning to use Passkey, that's what I used back then, and I really liked it, and I looked in Reddit, like, the Reddit enrolled agent, and to see, like, what study courses people recommended, it seems Passkey is a pretty good one. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do that one, and yeah, that's it, like, I'm gonna get my EA, and part of the reason I decided to just go ahead and do it was because for my bookkeeping business, so I have a bookkeeping business, um, and so that's why sometimes, this is a sidetrack, but people will in the comments of my WG videos, they'll ask like, well, a couple people, they've asked about like finding work after, and I don't really have experience with that because I had the bookkeeping business. I don't really plan to work for anyone as a W2 employee. I don't plan to. You never know what happens in the future. So so that's not the reason I got the degree. But the WG accounting subreddit, like there's people who will share their experiences looking for work after getting their degree, or sometimes while studying, like they haven't even finished, or they so I would suggest go there and read those because those are really helpful. And then there's a couple people who posted about finding internships after. So if you're thinking of like Big Four, corporate, like those are good posts to read. I don't really, again, I don't really want to work as a W T employee. I don't really want to work in corporate. So the goal here for me is to like have my business. And currently, I was bookkeeping only, just doing like bookkeeping support, but and then trying to figure out, oh, hey, I don't even know how far back you said, hey, hello in the chat. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, like, oh, bookkeeping only, and then I was trying to think of, do I want to like basically where do I want it to go? Like bigger, more into like the advisory side. Um, yeah, so what do I wanna do? And so this past year, I feel like I spent trying to figure out, like, do I even wanna do that? How do I feel about that? And the types of business you're working with when you're providing those services, like, how do I feel about that? And so I think really, really what, like, the direction I do wanna go, it requires me knowing taxes. Um, so I think I could do bookkeeping only if I really want to be, like, full service, almost like a co like a controller, basically, like an outsourced controller. I think if I wanted to do that more, then that would be best. But, at least right now, I don't think that's the direction I wanna go in, so that means I need to learn taxes, which is cool because I feel like I mean, I've done volunteer tax prep. I end up not giving tax advice, but sort of just clarifying questions from clients when they're talking to the tax pros. So yeah, it feels like a more natural fit. And then tax people just seem pretty similar to how I am. Like we kind of like to keep to ourselves, um, kind of have more control over our schedule. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Oh, so question: how were you studying when you were enrolled in WGU for the OA. It depends on the OA type, um, but for wait, let's see. Yeah, because there is Excel and the regular multiple choice. So for the Excel ones, well, honestly, I just read through the courses. Like that's how I study. I just read the course material, take notes, take the quizzes in the course material. Like I really use those quizzes to help me know like what I needed to study more. And then by the time I got to the practice test, I just took that like straight through just to see how well I would do on it. And then whatever I did really badly on, I just studied more before taking the real one. So, but that's what I did. I didn't do any hacks or anything because I feel like trying to figure out the hack just take longer than just studying. Um, oh yeah, I wrote down notes. So I took notes. Um, I think I even turn my notes into note cards. Like my usual study process is like take notes, turn those notes into shorter notes, which get turned into note cards. But I didn't do that for this. For like, I stopped after the first course because it felt like overkill. Like for my like in previous college, like science classes, that was helpful. But I feel like for this, it's more conceptual. So I just spent more time on making sure I knew how all the concepts connected and then maybe sometimes wrote down note cards for, like, formulas or really, really specific things. So were you able to use notes for the test? No, well, no, you can't. I did read in the subreddit that for people who had, like, accommodations, there might be some that let you use notes or, like a formula sheet, but, I mean, I didn't have any, so I didn't. But if you qualify for accommodations, that might be something to ask about if, like, that would help you. But yeah, no notes for the test. And, even for the practice test, I didn't use any notes because I wanted to take it, like, as close as possible to testing conditions, just to see, like, how well would I actually do, like, on the real test when I can't look up anything. Like, was I still able to figure it out? So yeah, that's how I did that. And then, like, just, like, in the real world, I think I mentioned this in the tax video, the taxation 1 course. Like, that one, the test was hard because in real world, you can look up stuff when you're doing taxes, especially, like, there's tax charts and, uh, what are they called? Like, not workflows, like, flow charts, because tax is so it depends so much on so many things, like, little things, that you can look up all that stuff usually during taxes, but for that course, you had to just rely on memory, so it was almost harder than real life. So yeah, yeah. But a lot of this is like if you can get through it through the test, then that's pretty good for real life because you can usually look up stuff up and ask for guidance. So mm, yeah, you have to take notes when you start. Yeah, I mean it's your study style. Yeah, that's just what I did. I'm just used to that. And they weren't even like great notes either. Like toward the end, I was just like, they I wasn't like carefully choosing what to take notes about. I was just taking like, okay, let me take this chunk. That way I can just read it over quickly later when I'm reviewing. So yeah, and then really I just relied on those quizzes. 'Cause that was the most helpful thing. But yeah, so yay, we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking I might do another weekly EA study. I don't know how that's gonna work because I feel like it's not as structured as WGU where I, like, knew how many classes to do, and I get structured around that. This will be more, um, like, not free form, but, like, I'll be studying and then have to just decide when I'm done and ready, and then take the test. And then, because in February, they redo the test for the new tax year, so, like, ideally, I would wanna finish before that, so we'll have to see because that's pretty soon. So, yeah, let's see. Am I liking the accounting field? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big field, but I've also never been in corporate. Corporate sounds awful. I'm sure not all of it's awful, just the people I've heard about it from. But yeah, I like it because you can do, I don't say anything, but you can do a lot with an accounting degree. So, like the part I'm in, the people I know, the parts I know about, it's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then if you start in accounting, it's again from Reddit, I've heard job markets for accounting is depending where you are, who you are, is pretty rough. But I feel like if you've got networking skills, some social skills, and accounting skills, you're pretty good. Yeah, yeah. But also depends on you. Like, what's your personality? What do you like to do? I do like to uh like look up stuff, but I also have like words and numbers. So I like words, writing, reading, but also like numbers, and then making those numbers make sense for people. So I feel like I can do both. Um, yeah, so that helps a lot. Um, but yeah, so that's it for today's live. We'll see what I want to talk about tomorrow. Uh, yeah, if there's anything you guys want to hear about, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just I don't know. It might be just like what happened that day too. We'll see. Like the goal was to do this for 14 days, at least until was that like the day before Christmas? So yeah, but we'll see. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Until next time.